Ladies and gentlemen, the difference between living an ordinary life and living a victorious one comes down to one word: boldness. Every dream you've ever had, every opportunity you've ever wanted, and every victory you've ever imagined is waiting on the other side of fear. Yet most people hesitate, they play it safe, and they watch life pass them by. But not you, not today. Because today, I'm going to show you how to move boldly, claim your power, and win in everything you set your mind to. Clarity is the foundation of boldness, and without it, confidence crumbles under the weight of uncertainty. When you know who you are and what you want, you walk into any room with a presence that cannot be ignored. People are drawn to those who radiate certainty because certainty is rare in a world full of hesitation. The bold are not reckless. They are guided by focus and vision. Every great achievement begins with a clear picture in the mind before it ever becomes a reality. When you move boldly with clarity, obstacles shrink because you can see beyond them. The timid hesitate because they are clouded by doubt, but the bold move forward because their vision gives them strength. Winning is not a matter of luck, but a matter of direction. A ship with no compass drifts endlessly, but a ship with clarity reaches its destination. Boldness backed by clarity is an unstoppable force that turns potential into power. Most people never win because they lack a clear sense of purpose. And without purpose, boldness feels impossible. You cannot move with confidence if you do not know what you are moving toward. Clarity simplifies the chaos of choices and decisions, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. The moment you define your vision, boldness takes root and courage becomes second nature. A clear goal eliminates hesitation because it creates a compelling reason to act. When you niche out your why, you stop second guessing and start executing. The timid wait for external approval, but the bold draw their confidence from an internal compass. Every time you define your direction, you strengthen your belief in yourself. Winning requires more than talent. It requires certainty of purpose. And that certainty is born only when clarity guides your steps. When you choose courage over comfort, you become a magnet for opportunity. People are drawn to bold leaders because boldness breeds certainty, and certainty creates trust. In moments of doubt, the one who acts with courage becomes the one who sets the tone for others. Boldness inspires while hesitation paralyzes. The timid stand at the edge of the cliff analyzing every risk, while the bold take the leap and discover wings on the way down. There will always be challenges, but challenges are not walls meant to stop you. They are doors meant to test your strength. The bold do not fear failure because they understand it is part of the journey to success. Comfort zones may feel safe, but they rob you of the chance to grow into the person you were created to be. Every victory you desire lies on the other side of fear. When you dare to move boldly, you give yourself permission to experience the fullness of life. Boldness is the spark that ignites hidden talents and awakens dormant dreams. Many people live with unfulfilled potential, not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked courage. They allowed fear of rejection, fear of failure, or fear of judgment to silence their voice. But the truth is, boldness silences fear the moment you act. Courage over comfort means standing tall when your knees are shaking, speaking up when your voice trembles, and moving forward when uncertainty clouds your path. Each time you choose boldness, you reprogram your mind to believe that you are capable of more. With every bold step, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the obstacles in front of you. Eventually, boldness becomes a lifestyle and winning becomes a habit. When you look back at history, you see that every great achievement was once considered impossible until someone chose to believe otherwise. They acted with the conviction that loss was not even on the table, and through that conviction, they changed the course of their lives and the world around them. That same spirit lives within you, waiting to be awakened the moment you decide that losing is no longer an option. You do not need to know every step ahead. You only need to know that no matter what steps you take, you will keep moving until the finish line is yours. That type of persistence is unstoppable because no obstacle, no setback, and no rejection has the power to silence it. When you carry this belief, even temporary defeats cannot shake you, because you understand they are part of a greater process that is moving you toward inevitable victory. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who live in regret is not intelligence, resources, or luck. It is mindset. Those who act as if they cannot lose play the game of life differently. They take risks others avoid. They stand tall when others shrink back, and they refuse to stop when others quit. They understand that life rewards boldness, not hesitation. And as they continue to act from a place of certainty, Opportunities seem to find them. Doors open because their energy commands attention. They don't just wait for the right moment, they create it. They don't just hope for success, they embody it until it becomes reality. That is the power of living with the mindset that you cannot lose. This way of thinking does not guarantee an easy path, but it does guarantee a victorious one. You may stumble, you may fall, and you may face resistance, but you will never stay down. The mindset of inevitable victory pushes you to rise every time, stronger than before, until eventually the obstacles in front of you seem small compared to the fire burning inside of you. Success becomes not a question of if, but a matter of when. And when it finally arrives, you realize it wasn't the victory itself that made you powerful. It was the decision you made long before, the decision to act as if you could not lose. That decision reshaped your life, your destiny, and your impact on the world around you. So when you step into the battles of your own life, remember this. The outcome is written not in the circumstances, but in the belief you carry into them. Choose to act with certainty. Choose to act with conviction. Choose to carry yourself like victory is already yours. Because the truth is, when you decide you cannot lose, you already have the greatest advantage anyone can ever possess, the unshakable belief that nothing can stop you. When you step into life with the belief that you cannot lose, your entire energy transforms. The way you carry yourself shifts, the way you speak commands attention, and the way you act reflects a certainty that others can feel. People are drawn to this type of energy because it is rare, it is magnetic, and it is inspiring. Confidence is not just something you think in your head, it is something you project into the world, and that projection shapes the way others respond to you. Acting as if you cannot lose is about aligning your thoughts, your body language, and your actions with the reality of victory. When you show up with that kind of conviction, the environment around you begins to adjust. Opportunities open, doors unlock, and people begin to trust and follow your lead. This is not magic. It is the natural result of living with a mindset that success is inevitable. Every move you make from this place of certainty carries a different weight than when you act with hesitation. Doubt is heavy, it slows you down, it clouds your judgment, and it makes others question you. But conviction is light. It propels you forward, clears your vision, and inspires confidence in everyone who encounters you. When you live with this type of belief, even setbacks take on a new meaning. What most people see as failure, you begin to see as feedback. What others take as rejection, you accept as redirection. You no longer view obstacles as proof that you cannot succeed, but as tests designed to sharpen you. This shift in perspective is powerful because it allows you to stay calm and resilient even when things do not go as planned. Instead of shrinking in the face of adversity, you expand. Instead of backing down, you press forward with greater determination. Acting as if you cannot lose doesn't eliminate struggle, but it eliminates the fear of struggle. And when fear no longer controls you, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Energy is contagious, and the energy of conviction spreads faster than doubt ever could. When you show up with confidence, you give others permission to believe as well. Your actions create a ripple effect that inspires those around you to raise their standards and believe in their own possibilities. People are naturally attracted to leaders who walk with certainty because certainty brings a sense of safety, direction, and hope. When you act as if you cannot lose, you are not just influencing your own journey. You are influencing the journeys of everyone who crosses your path. You become a living example of what is possible when belief meets bold action. And in a world full of hesitation and fear, that kind of example is priceless. This mindset also changes the way you approach opportunities. Instead of second guessing yourself or waiting for the perfect conditions, you move forward boldly. You don't hesitate, you don't stall, you don't waste time questioning whether you're ready, you act. And in acting, you create momentum. Momentum is the hidden force behind success because it builds confidence, draws attention, and creates a cycle of progress that feeds itself. Acting as if you cannot lose fuels this cycle because every step you take with conviction strengthens your belief and every small win reinforces your certainty. Over time, this becomes an unstoppable force that pushes you further than you ever imagined. Even in competition, this energy sets you apart. Others may have more skill, more experience, or more resources, but when you step into the arena with the mindset that you cannot lose, you carry an advantage they cannot match. That advantage is presence, and presence is powerful. It intimidates, it inspires, and it shifts the entire dynamic of the challenge. Many battles are won not in the final outcome, but in the moments leading up to it, through posture, attitude, and mindset. By acting as if victory is already yours, you set the tone long before the result is decided. And in many cases, that tone determines the outcome. This way of thinking doesn't just affect the big moments, it transforms the everyday moments too. When you wake up each morning with the belief that you cannot lose, your day begins differently. You move with intention instead of aimlessness. You pursue tasks with focus instead of distraction. You interact with others with confidence instead of doubt. Over time, this consistency compounds, creating results that are impossible to ignore. What seemed impossible months or years ago becomes your reality because you never stop moving as if success was guaranteed. And even when things took longer than expected, you stayed the course because you believed the finish line was inevitable. There is a quiet power in certainty. It silences the noise of doubt, it calms the storm of insecurity, and it steadies you when the path seems unclear. Acting as if you cannot lose doesn't mean you always know the next step, but it means you trust yourself enough to take it. That trust builds resilience. And resilience builds results. When others give up, you keep going. When others get discouraged, you stay committed. And that difference over time, when you adopt the mindset that you cannot lose, setbacks stop being the end of the story and start becoming chapters in your journey. Life is never free of obstacles, disappointments, or failures, but the way you choose to interpret them determines the direction you go. Most people allow setbacks to break them, to convince them that they are not capable of achieving more, but champions choose to see them as lessons and stepping stones. This does not mean they enjoy failure, but it means they refuse to let failure define them. Acting as if you cannot lose requires you to shift your perspective, to view rejection not as final, but as redirection towards something better. Every detour holds a lesson, every delay holds growth, and every disappointment is an invitation to rise stronger. When you carry this belief, nothing can permanently stop you because you decide that every step forward, no matter how difficult, still leads toward victory. Consider the countless times you faced challenges in your life and thought it was over, only to realize later that those very challenges built the strength you needed. At the time, it may have felt unbearable, but in hindsight, you see the purpose in the pain. Acting as if you cannot lose is about embracing that perspective in the present moment rather than only after the fact. It is about reminding yourself that no setback has the power to erase your destiny. This mindset keeps you calm when the world expects you to panic. It keeps you determined when others expect you to quit. And it keeps you hopeful when the situation looks hopeless. The greatest victories often rise from the ashes of what once looked like defeat, but only for those who refuse to surrender. If you can look at your setbacks and declare, this is not the end, this is part of the process, then you are already winning. The truth is, setbacks are inevitable for anyone pursuing greatness. They are not signs that you are unworthy or incapable. They are signs that you are being prepared. Preparation often comes disguised as hardship because hardship develops the character, discipline, and resilience required for success. Without resistance, strength cannot be built, and without challenges, growth cannot occur. Acting as if you cannot lose means you welcome the resistance, knowing it will forge you into someone stronger than before. Every champion, every leader, every pioneer has a story filled with obstacles that would have crushed an ordinary person. The difference is they did not see those moments as permanent losses. They saw them as necessary steps on the path to victory. If you can adopt this mindset, setbacks will stop feeling like dead ends and start feeling like detours with purpose. When you act as if you cannot lose, you stop being afraid of failure because you know failure is never final. Most people allow the fear of failure to paralyze them, keeping them from taking risks, trying new things, or pursuing bold dreams. But when you believe that every setback is only temporary, you move forward without hesitation. This does not mean you will never stumble, but it does mean you will always rise. Each time you rise with greater wisdom, greater resilience, and greater strength than before. In fact, what looks like a setback to others becomes a setup for your comeback. The mindset of I cannot lose is what turns pain into power, rejection into resilience, and defeat into determination. That transformation is the very essence of unstoppable success. Think of it this way. A setback is only a loss if you decide to stop. As long as you keep moving, as long as you keep pressing forward, you are still in the game. Acting as if you cannot lose fuels you with the perseverance to keep pushing when others have already given up. It gives you the inner fire to see beyond the momentary struggle and focus on the bigger picture. People who believe they cannot lose are not immune to pain or failure. They simply refuse to stop.